It was a day that shook Nigeria's political and legal community to its core. A day when the boundaries between power, influence, and justice were exposed in the starkest way. The stage was set for a high-stakes political debate in Nigeria's legislative chamber. But instead, what transpired that day left many Nigerians utterly stunned. Senator Adamu Bulkachuwa revealed that some of his colleagues present in the chamber had sought his help while his wife was the president of the Court of Appeal. He went on to thank his wife, admitting that he had overstepped her independence and freedom during her time in office, and she had allowed it. Senator Bulkachuwa, a politician with considerable influence, openly acknowledged without any prompting that he had a role in shaping the decisions his wife made as a high-ranking judge. For many, this wasn't just shocking, it was almost unfathomable. In that one candid admission, the carefully constructed narrative of Nigeria's political and judicial independence came crashing down. Nigeria, like many nations, prides itself on having a judiciary that operates free from political interference. But Senator Bulkachuwa's words shook that belief to its core. How could anyone trust the integrity of the judiciary if those at the highest levels of power, both in politics and in law, could openly admit to crossing the line like it was nothing? Legal professionals, scholars, and citizens alike were left in a frenzy of questions. Was this an isolated case, a rare moment of weakness, or had political influence already seeped too deeply into the country's judicial system? Could the judiciary, once seen as a pillar of integrity, now be just another extension of political maneuvering? This wasn't just a personal matter. This was a question of public trust. Could the people of Nigeria still have faith in the impartiality of their courts, or had the political machinery contaminated the very system designed to uphold justice? For some, it was a shocking revelation. For others, it was merely confirmation of long-held suspicions without proof. It was a clear case of judicial influence and favors used to sway the outcome of judgments. Senator Bulkachuwa, a towering figure in Nigeria's National Assembly, and his wife, Justice Zainab Bulkachuwa, a respected judge who had made her mark on the Nigerian judiciary. This was a couple with seemingly immense influence in the political and legal spheres. Her role as the head of the Court of Appeal made her one of the most powerful judicial figures in the country. Now, with the public reeling from her husband's admission, many began to question her ability to remain impartial. Some demanded she step down. Others demanded clarification. But despite the growing uproar, Justice Bulkachuwa chose silence. Perhaps hoping the controversy would fade, she remained out of the public eye, leaving room for even more speculation. But the impact of the senator's words was far-reaching. This wasn't just a family issue. It was a national crisis, one that threatened to shake the very pillars of Nigerian democracy. Could the courts remain impartial if powerful individuals were influencing the outcomes of cases behind closed doors? What did this mean for the future of Nigerian democracy, where the boundaries between politics, law, and personal relationships were blurred beyond recognition? As the weeks passed, Nigerians found themselves locked in a fierce debate over the ethics of the senator's statement. Calls for legal reforms grew louder. People demanded greater accountability, transparency, and safeguards to prevent any political interference in the judicial process. But despite the pressure, one thing remained certain. The scandal had irrevocably altered the public's perception of the relationship between the political and judicial systems in Nigeria. It was anticipated that the cases she had ruled on would undergo a thorough review, yet nothing has been done to this day. Nigerians were expecting strong and decisive action from the Nigerian Bar Association, the body of benches, the National Judicial Council, and the legislators themselves. But alas, they are still waiting. How many other judges and justices have been granting judicial favors to friends and colleagues? This isn't just about the Bulkachuwas. It is about how corruption seeps into every corner of a society, from the highest courtrooms to the halls of the legislature. The most carefully constructed systems are still vulnerable to influence, whether that influence comes from politics, family, or wealth. It shows how easily the lines can blur and how important it is to safeguard judicial independence in any democracy. This is a call to action for all Nigerians, urging them to protect the integrity of their courts and to ensure that justice remains blind to power. For similar stories, please follow, like, and share.